Hi guys, I thought I'd give you an overview of the setup of my Filofax. Some of you might know that I am about to get a Vanderspec binder, which I'm really excited about, but it's not been actually sent yet, so I've got, I don't know, I'm guessing over a week to wait. So in the meantime I'm using my Wine Personal Holborn, and I do love this one, even though it did have ring problems. I've managed to fix them as much as I can, so it's a good binder, it really is. I love the pocket layout, but it's just not a Vanderspec, so I'm really looking forward to receiving mine. I will be using this one when I feel like I want a change, but the Vanderspec is my holy grail. It's going to be my absolutely lovely companion, and I'm so looking forward to receiving that one. But in the meantime I'm quite happy using my Holborn. So I haven't finished setting it up, but I will show you what I've got so far. So I haven't got any cards in here. I've just got some post-it notes and a Filofax business card from Steve. I've got a Moleskine pocket cahier in the slip pocket here. I love this slip pocket. The Vanderspecs, unless you ask for them to be customised with a pocket like this, they don't come with it, so I'm going to have to find some other way to store this little book. But this is the bullet journal that I was using in my field note size Fodori, and I'm planning on keeping on using this one as my bullet journal, and then when I've used this one up I will make field note size or possibly A6 size little booklets to use, because I tried to just write on normal personal size Filofax paper and I didn't like it, so I'll keep that in there. But when I have my Vanderspec I'm going to have to find some other way to keep that little booklet in there, because it doesn't have the pocket. And then my front page, it used to be the credit card pocket with my favourite cards in, with this behind it that you couldn't see straight away, but I've got the credit card insert in my Fodori, so I don't need that at the front of my Filofax. So I've just got this decorated piece of paper which I absolutely love, and it's very nostalgic for me because this is the wrapping paper that I remember from when I was really little, so it's nice to see something that gives you good memories when you first open your binder. And it's got a fly leaf over the tops to protect it. And then I've got my first homemade divider. You might have seen me making this one on my video. I've just made the tabs for it, so all of these tabs down the side are handmade. They're actually from a die from Tim Holtz, his tags die, if I can get the piece of card out. It's basically a piece of card that's cut into this shape, and you fold it in half and it becomes a tab for dividers. I spent quite a lot of time doing these. Basically I decorated some card with spray inks, just like I did this one, not with any stencils or anything, just for the colours, and then I ran them through the die cutting machine to make these, and I made 10 of them, and so I've used 4 in here, and I'm going to be using the remaining 6 and some extra ones that I'll make in the divider tabs that the dividers that I'm going to be making from my mum's Filofax. And then I made a label with my label printer, stuck it to the inside, and then folded them over and stuck them on with some of the like laminating sheets, but not from a hot machine laminator, just that roll of sticky back plastic that I use to cover the whole dividers to protect them. Instead of using sellotape to attach them, I use some of that sticky back plastic because you can't actually see it unless you look really closely. So I really like these dividers and these tabs. I hope they will last, because I'm not sure that sticky back plastic really will protect them for long, because it is starting to unpeel at the corners. I am using DIY Fish diary inserts. I originally bought the August month trial for the version 3 with the 1 week on the left and the notes and chart on the right, but I realised that I wasn't really using the week on the left hand side, and I wasn't really writing much on the notes page on the right hand side, and the chart would kind of be, eventually I'd be duplicating what I was writing in the month and in the week charts. So I decided that I absolutely love the monthly calendars, but I wouldn't really be using the weekly ones. Plus I also have the Dodo Pad A5 inserts, which I was cutting down to use, as well as the DIY Fish weekly ones. So what the plan was to have the week on the left of the DIY Fish and the Dodo Pad week on the right, and the week on the left would be stuff I have to do that day, and the Dodo Pad insert on the right would be stuff that I want to do for my hobbies, but I have very limited free time after work in the evenings during the week, so I definitely didn't have enough stuff to fill all 5 boxes, and I realised that actually I could probably just use those, you know, the Dodo Pad ones for the whole week's everything I need to do, and I'd already bought them, and I had 6 months, well now 5 and a bit months left. August, September, October, November, December, 5 months left. So I bought the January to December ones, and I hadn't used, because I bought them in June, I hadn't used 5 months of them, and then it's taken me a couple of months to get around to using them. So I was going to have almost a year's worth of inserts unused, so I decided that when I come to buy more DIY Fish inserts, because the August trial, you know, obviously only lasts for 1 month, that I would buy the monthly calendar pages, which I absolutely love, and use the Dodo Pad weekly pages, because I've already got them. So I'll quickly show you the setup of my monthly grid, but I haven't really finished setting it up. I haven't really sorted out what I'm going to be using the monthly chart for, but when I do I'll show you. And then I've slipped between the holes and the edge of the page, so I can take this out easily, so I can use it more efficiently. I use the calendar for the month for my working times, well, when I'm supposed to work, and then recurring tasks that I've got to do, and also things like bus ticket, any birthdays or occasions or holiday events, that sort of thing. And then my favourite thing about this is you've got this right hand column which has these squares, these check boxes. So I started writing down the tasks that I've got to do once a month, and then once I've done them I'll tick them off. But then I figured out I've got stuff that I need to do. Now this is a revelation to me, but it's not necessarily to the people watching this video, because I don't do things on a monthly perspective, I do them on a weekly perspective. So using a monthly thing like this is quite unusual to me, but you might be going, oh, that's so obvious, but to me this is quite unusual. So when I'm saying, oh, I realised I could do this and this, that was quite you know, a new thing to me. So anyway, so I've got all these once monthly things that I wrote in here, and then I've got these more than once a month things, so like hoovering my room, using the printer so that the dust doesn't get caught, and anyway, I calculate how many times I need to do them per month, and then I draw corresponding amount of boxes. So for example, if I'm going to be using my face mask once every week, I'll draw 4 boxes, and then when I've done it, I'll tick it off. And then once I've completely done all 4 things, all 4 times, I will tick the checkbox which I've drawn in on the left to match the checkbox on the right hand column. So it's reflecting the right hand column into the left hand column, and I'll number them all. So the right hand side is green and the left hand side is red, so that in this column here I know that number 1 in the red one will be in this column, number 1 in the green column will be in this one, so I don't have to label these all 1 to 20 and these 21 to 40. So that's easier for me. And this originally was a wide column, this column here, but the fold went down about 1 inch from the edge, so I drew a line to make that a distinct column, carried on the lines of the weeks with the calendar, and so this box is for that week, this box is for that week, etc, etc, and then I would write in which tasks I've got to do from these 2 columns without having to take up the whole box by writing the whole word out. I just literally write the number in. So I know that this week, before this week is over, which is actually tonight, I've got to do a red 2, a red 4, a red 3 and a green 3. So that's, I've got to hoover my room, use the printer, which I have done, do my face mask, which I have done, and dust my room. So that is easy for me, and then theoretically I will go and take those tasks and put them in my weekly to-do list. But I didn't do that because I've been changing from the DIY Fish weekly planner to the Dodo Pad weekly planner. I haven't transferred everything over. So that's my monthly setup, and because I took out the weekly grid, the weekly pages which had the grid sort of page on the back of the first week, I didn't have the to-do list for the month to correspond with this month page, so I'm going to stick sticky notes on here instead and just use this as my weekly to-do list. And so here is an example of the Dodo Pad. I haven't finished filling it in, I'm going to backfill it from the previous days, and I've just literally cut down the Dodo Pad insert, and it fits really well on personal paper from the A5, because all you have to do is chop it down to the top of the sort of category diagonal lines here, and then a couple of millimeters at the bottom of the grid, and it fits really well on. And I didn't cut off the edge, I just folded the edge across, so I've actually got all 5 squares of width, but it's just folded in half. And then the next page I have the back of the previous page, and that's for notes, and then I've got the weekly grid. So I've got those in for the current month, and then I've got September with its monthly thing, and then I've got October to December, and they are clipped with a cat paper clip from Midori. I absolutely love these DIY Fish monthly pages, they are so clever. Here's my next divider. This is for my organisation section. I don't know if you can see that, the lighting is quite bad. So I've written organisation on it with stamps, and obviously I couldn't get them lined up very well. On the previous one I wrote diary up here, and then I wrote organisation on here. When I was making my tabs, the little window, it wasn't big enough for me to write organisation with my label printer, so I had to change that to planning, which is quite annoying because for the past 3 years I've used the same names for the dividers, and so it's quite annoying that I've had to change it from organisation to a different name, planning. And then my reference section, that was also too long, so I've had to change that to stuff, which I don't really like. I could have changed it to info, but it's not just info, so my mum suggested stuff. It's better than nothing. Anyway, so this is the second most important section of the planner. The diary section is the most important, and I've just got all of the things that help me organise my life, lists, projects that, you know, projects that aren't really, don't need a lot of page space or sort of sketching or anything, just short lists. And then some other things like books to read, wish list. I haven't finished setting this section up. There's definitely more that can go in here, but I only set up this Filofax about a week ago, so once I've finished doing that it will be a lot thicker and there will be a lot more of my brain on paper in here. Then I've got my notes section. Notes up there, notes in there. Fortunately that would fit in the little window. And that is mostly blank paper. Actually it is all but, there is only one line that isn't, you know, that there is only one page with anything written on it. The rest of it is just blank paper, which I will take out of there and put in other sections when I need it. But if I don't have my Midori accessible and I don't have this little booklet with me, then I will use this section to write notes down, because if I don't have paper with me at all times, I will think of something brilliant and then I will instantly forget it because my memory is rubbish. So I need some paper with me. So that section is quite important, even though it might not have anything actually written in it, because I'll write something in it and take that piece of paper out and, I don't know, put it in my Midori, transfer it over to my Midori and throw it away. But this section, as long as it's got enough paper, either for me to put in the other sections when I need to, or for me to write down my ideas and stuff, it is really important. And then I've got my reference section, which, as I said, is called stuff, which I don't like. And this is the same as I used to have. It's just things that I'm not actually going to add to, I'm not actually going to write on. Although, you know, I'm going to write on my addresses, but I haven't done that yet. It is just like things that I don't need to write on, lists I don't need to add to, notes I don't need to add to. It's just stuff to reference later. There's my kitten contract. There's my king list that I just like looking through sometimes. I don't have a lot of stuff in here either, but my thinking was that instead of doing just a random information section, I like the idea of a filing cabinet like some people have done with the A to Z dividers, but I'm not going to bulk out my planner using A to Z dividers, so I'll just have this stuff in alphabetical order, which I may do, and that means that this can be full of all of the pieces of information that I need access to at any one time. So that is my planner, and then I've got my Fodori, which I haven't set up yet, but it's going to be my journal. So effectively my Filofax is my head and my Midori or Fodori is my heart. This is what I need to do, what I need to keep track of, what I need to plan projects, charts, lists, stuff like that. That is stuff that's swimming around in my head, which I mustn't forget, mustn't, you know, I just must keep track of and must do. Whereas this is going to be for the stuff that I love, the stuff that I want to write about, the stuff that I want to remember and come back to in 10 years and you know, draw and paint and stick things, you know, like smashbooking, and write about my favourite things and sort of review my favourite TV programmes and books that I've read and things that I read from the internet and that sort of stuff. It will be my heart and this will be my head. And another way of thinking of it is, I forget which way round it is, but one of them's left brain and one of them's right brain. So whichever one is the logical side, the, you know, straightforward listy sort of planny side, that will be this one, and whichever is the creative free sort of, you know, creative side, that's this side, that's the Midori. So yeah, that was very waffly, sorry, I haven't done a video on a Filofax setup for a while, so I was waffling, but thank you for watching.